it sells out so fast. A lot of people show up alone. Just showing people that you can do it too. And if I can do it, anyone can do it. You just have to just start. And if you've never thrown an event before yet, fake an event. I did my birthday party. I did my birthday party to capture content so people know what to expect. Otherwise, the dark side, I would say feeling burnt out and feeling a little guilty when you don't have an event. And I have to say, I feel that way this month. Definitely. I would say I'm a little, in general, delusional with my capabilities, which I think actually helps me in the long run. I will say, I just was talking to a friend about this with that. It's good to be a little delusional with your capabilities and your goals, because it just makes you shoot further for the stars. Everything costs money to run, and you can't be a thriving community if you're going broke doing it. Being in control of my own time and the importance of my own time management and valuing my time. So I think that people crave connection, whether they want to say it or not. I think sometimes there's haters on the online that say, oh, we don't, these communities, whatever, run club, etc. They always complain about run club. But the people that come to these events are some of the friendliest, most open people that it's just so great to see post-COVID. Yeah, it definitely is a lot of work, time, money, everything you just said. So if I were to plan an event right now, it would be, okay.
Ever wonder what it takes to build a community that people actually want to be a part of? Not just a group, but a movement. Our guest today did exactly that. In just 1 year, she turned a simple idea into a viral social club where events sell out in 15 minutes flat. She's Camille Mejia, founder of one of LA's fastest growing pickleball communities. She's mastered the art of turning strangers into friends and events into experiences. From landing brand deals with 0 followers to creating a space where loneliness fades away, she's rewriting the rules of connection. This is her story. This is Rise.
How is your day going so far?
Good. It's so beautiful out today that I had to take a little lap around the neighborhood.
Oh, here we go.
We're so lucky living in California.
We're beyond lucky. We're not just lucky. I mean, to see this weather in January.
I know. I have friends that live on the East Coast, and I don't envy them at all.
No, you don't. You shouldn't. You shouldn't.
Yeah.
Trust me. They should envy us.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Cool. All right. So, well, thank you so much for being with us. It's very exciting, and knowing what you are doing as far as building a community around pickleball, which is fascinating, because I actually started to get myself into pickleball as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've been playing. I'm not a pro. I'm still trying to get the hang of it, but it's different. You actually get tired and you sweat a lot. People think it's simple. It's not. You run a lot.
You do run a lot. I think people underestimate it, because it sounds a little silly and it looks a little silly, but when you put in the work, you'll definitely sweat out there.
I can barely play with 2 players, like 2 against 2. And when I tried to do like 1-on-1, man,
so hard.
It is. It's awesome. Well, cool. So one of the things that caught my attention was that your events sell out in minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that?
That's a good question. I think I put a lot of time into curating an event that I think feels very unique. So we have a couple different events. The ones that sell out within 15 minutes are our speed dating pickleball tournaments. So it's basically where you get paired up with different partners for each round. And that's like the speed dating aspect of like being paired up with someone randomly. And then you play throughout the match, your points follow you, and then we have a winner at the end. Those sell out so fast that I get shocked every single time. And every single time I feel so grateful that people want to go to this and people come back, event after event. But those are one of my favorites. They are so fun. It's always the best group of people that come, and because it sells out so fast, a lot of people show up alone. So I think a lot of times when you have people that show up alone, it naturally creates a community where people really connect and are forced in a way to talk to each other. Like you don't have your clique there. So it makes the event even more inclusive and more focused on, finding people and building a community.
As a matter of fact, I've read a statistics that says that the older generation right now, because they started to tap into pickleball, the percentage of feeling loneliness has dropped significantly.
Yeah.
Which really speaks for the uniqueness of this sport specifically.
Yeah.
So before pickleball, what were you actually doing?
So I played tennis my whole life. So I'm a tennis player before I am a pickleball player. So I was actually meeting a lot of people through tennis, and I started Pickle and Tequila in the beginning of 2024. And that's kind of the time when I think pickleball was really becoming on the rise. And I just kept thinking, okay, if I'm meeting so many people through tennis, while I'm hyperventilating on the court, then pickleball's a little bit easier. I can probably talk to people a little easier while I play. And I didn't find a community for that. So then I said, okay, why don't I try one? Why don't I start one?
Got it. And normally when you run these kind of events, especially the speed dating ones, how big of an event is that? How many people show up for each one of those events?
Yeah, it depends on where we're hosting it, where the venue is, but usually we get around like 50 people for the speed dating events.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how long? And normally, how long is that?
So it's a 2-hour tournament, and then we go to a local bar and we stay out there until people want to leave. So the very first time we did it, the event was 4 to 6. We go to a bar afterwards and everyone stayed out till like 11 p.m. So it ended up being like a whole night of people just hanging out with new strangers.
Got it. So let's go back. What was your very first event look like? How did it feel?
Yeah, so my very first event was actually my birthday party in a way. So I had this idea of Pickle and Tequila that I wanted to create this pickleball community, but I wanted to test it out. So for my birthday, I had all my friends show up and I tested out the concept of, these are people that have never played pickleball. Can we make a cool community dynamic? Like, what do the games look like? How do I interact with people that haven't played before? And I forced all my friends to be at the very first event. And that was my test run. And it went well. And then I actually so before we even had the first event, I started posting on social media as if it was like already a club, a pickleball club. And another group that does, they basically post about things happening in your area. They found it and they blasted it to their like newsletter and their own social media. And I started getting people, like random strangers, messaging me, how do I come to this? How do I come to this? And in my mind, I'm like, this is my birthday party. This is just for me. And I ended up having 2 strangers come because they really, really wanted to be there. And I think they were a little confused. Like, how come everyone knows Camille? Like, what is happening here? But it ended up it was a really good test run for our first event.
So now what's the frequency of having these kind of events? Is it like weekly, monthly?
Now I do it. Yeah, now I do it probably monthly. When I first started in the first year, I was doing a lot of events because I think when you're starting to build a community, it's important to have a lot of options for people to come to and good momentum. So, I mean, at one point I was doing like 3 events in a weekend, just trying to get as many events out there. And it started to feel like a little too much for me personally. I was like, I'm a little drained now. And so I'm focusing more on fewer events, but higher quality events at this point, and trying to avoid the burnout feeling.
Tell me more. When you say it's becoming too much, what does that mean?
Yeah, it was... So when I started Pickle and Tequila, I wanted this to be a fun outlet for me, a creative outlet, somewhere that I can meet, new friends. And it was that until I mean, it was always that, but it did get to a point where it started to feel like a lot of work, and it felt almost like I was starting to resent having to do an event, and I didn't like that. And I think also, if you feel that way, I don't want my guests to feel that way. If I'm exhausted and like, you know, not wanting to even host an event, I don't want people to feel that when they're there. So I started to think back of, okay, how can I bring more value but not extend my time so much? And so that's why I started thinking, like, let's focus on some higher value events and scale it down a little bit.
So let's walk through this scenario, which is, let's assume you and I want to put together a big event right now. What would that look like? What's your process of putting these events together? And I'm just, what I'm trying to get to is to showcase the amount of work that somebody has to put in, which happens to be time, money, physically. I mean, everything that just to bring up or to put together an event that will be as successful and to get people together. So just walk us through this whole process.
Yeah, it definitely is a lot of work, time, money, everything you just said. So if I were to plan an event right now, it would be, okay, what dates are we looking at? What venue options do we have? What's the quote or price that it's going to cost for the venue? Then I have to start thinking, okay, what brand partnerships are we going to bring in? I love partnering with brands. I feel like it adds so much value for my events to expose my community to some of my favorite products or, you know, whatever they're wanting to showcase. So reaching out to brands, making sure everything is happening in enough time to make this work. So it can't happen within that month because you need time to advertise as well. So there's that too. We're then doing video, photo advertisement. So creating content to advertise for the event, get people interested. And that's all a couple months before the event even happens. And then you get to the event and you need to set everything up. I always make a list. So most of the time I'm doing the content, but I have a photographer there. If I can't, for whatever reason, do content because I'm hosting and running games or whatever, I'll hire someone to do content for me. But before that happens, I make a list of everything we need to capture. These are the trendy reels that we're going to create. These are the brands we need to prioritize. This is the type of content I already planned out for the brands. And then we get there, plan it out, set everything up, do the event. And then post-event, we're pushing out content immediately. I want people that were on the border of coming and decided not to come to feel FOMO. I want them to be like, oh, I should have gone to that. And I'm like, yes, you should have, because look at all these cool photos.
Very smart. Yeah, and that's the challenge with a lot of the events. And I'm really, really glad that you're actually doing this, because one of the problems with events, regardless of the size, is what happens after the event. The immediate disconnect that happens between the event day and anything that happens after the event. And then if you want to put on another event, sometimes in a few months or even in a year, people tend to forget about you. And then you will have to start all over again, the whole cycle again, to remind them of you and why they should come to your next event.
100%.
Versus having that community where you're always connected between the events. You know what's going on, they're engaged, and those community members automatically become your attendees of your upcoming event. So you won't have to worry too much about the sellout. And I think that's one of the why you're very successful right now, to be able to sell out in like 15 minutes because of that community aspect of it.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think you're spot on with, once the event ends, your job isn't done. Your job is, you're still going. You have to push out the content, build momentum still. Like, you want people to see what they missed out on. Or I think there's also the importance of people that were there. You want them to see themselves there. Like, you want to tag them in the photos. You want them to reshare and share with their friends, because word of mouth is everything. So definitely a long process for planning an event start to finish.
Well, are you doing all the work yourself? You mentioned you and the photographer. What about Anybody else? Do you rely on volunteers? Do you have a team? How does it work?
Yeah, so I have a couple people on our team. To be honest, it's funny because it's my sister and my fiance who are, they're in a way forced to be, they're forced to be part of it. But they're so great because they let me bounce ideas off of them. You know, they come help me set up. We have a couple people that are part of the community that just volunteered and wants to be part of the setup team. So they'll be there, they'll join the event for free, and like they'll be able to help check in and facilitate the event. And then my sister does photography, so she'll come and do all the photos and everything for us.
And how do you keep track of your community? As far as I know, you rely heavily on social media, like what you mentioned, and I think you rely more on TikTok than any other platform. Is this correct, or do you use multiple tools?
Yeah, I definitely use multiple tools. I would say Instagram is the predominant place for Pickle and Tequila to like see what events are coming up. My TikTok, I started doing a little more recently of more so behind the scenes, my thought process, and then for me to share tips for other community leaders of like, this is how I did this. Like, what do you think? Like, these are my best practices, and just sharing that through TikTok.
And how is the engagement going as far as people reaching out? How is that working for you?
Yeah, I've had a lot of people reach out on TikTok to do one-on-one calls or consults for their own group. And I think right now, there's a huge push towards community building. I think we discussed this prior with, you know, COVID being such a roadblock for connection, and people really are like, they're craving it, and people are making these communities in the most niche way possible. They're doing golf, they're doing a very specific board game group, they're doing pickleball, tennis, etc. And people love it. They just love it. And so there's so many people on TikTok that I've found that want to create this community for themselves. And I think that's where I've really found such a passion with sharing best practices on TikTok, and having these other community builders say, you know, I would love to do this too. Like, how do you do this? X, Y, and Z. And just showing people that you can do it too. And if I can do it, anyone can do it. You just have to like, just start. And it's such a low stake way to build a community also on Instagram and TikTok. And so it's been really fun sharing that process.
Awesome. So what do you think, what do most people get wrong about building communities online?
Most people get wrong. I think that, I don't know if this is what most people get wrong, but this is something I see, whether, I don't know if they're trying to or not, but I think that content and social media is so important. It's the number one thing for broadcasting your group. And I think sometimes people underestimate how important it is to capture content during the event to show people what the actual event looks like. And they just think that they can make, you know, a graphic, like, still image just saying, you know, oh, like, event happening at this time, and that's all they need. I think that that is completely misguided in how we are today with social media. So I think underestimating the importance of social media and the importance of investing in yourself with social media skills, whether that's investing in a new camera or the proper tools or learning through YouTube or any sort of class. I think that that is highly, highly valuable in terms of growing your community.
Somebody might be asking, when we say the word content, it's a little bit more broad. So what does the word content mean for people? Let's say if somebody right now has an idea of starting their own community, what kind of content should they start to plan out and work on to get this idea going?
I think that they need to have content of what your event actually looks like. And if you've never thrown an event before yet, fake an event. I did my birthday party. I did my birthday party to capture content so people know what to expect. Otherwise, you're not going to go to something when you can't visualize what it's going to be. I'm not going to pay money to go to a hairdresser if she has no photos of what her haircuts look like. You know, it's just like the normal way that people go into buying something or participating in an event. You have to have content. And so capturing what your event actually looks like, and then also capturing your community members in a way that shows like, this is the type of like vibe, the type of inclusiveness that we have, showing people shaking hands, meeting for the first time, showing people laughing, just like natural content of what to actually expect. I think that is just so crucial. And then I think there's different levels too. So that's more so the basic level. And then if you want to go even more, you can do some behind the scenes content. People love behind the scenes. Take us through the day of what it is like to host this event for you. And then even further, this is something that I've started doing a little bit more, is more like cinematic series content. I see a lot of brands pushing that way. So I just started doing it sounds so silly, a mockumentary around the team members of Pickle and Tequila. So we start showing like, this is us at our headquarters and it's a chaotic office, but these are the characters that you will see at these events. And it builds a separate part of your social media chapter, I think. And you see so many big brands doing it. So I like to follow what the big brands are doing, even though I'm a small little social club community. But if they're doing it and they have $1 million marketing team strategizing over their content, I'm going to follow that.
Absolutely. So do you think, are you using any AI tools right now that helps you to script your content, to actually produce the content, or is it still the old way of doing things?
Yeah, I used Chat GPT heavily for my mockumentary script. Heavily. Okay. And there was one day that it was down. I couldn't work on it. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I'm just going to sit here then. But I have no experience in script writing or anything like that. So I needed the AI to give me a basis, and then I can work my way in. But AI is incredible right now. There's so incredible things that are happening, even within social media, like video design, all that stuff. That's something I would love to dive into and learn more about.
Awesome. Cool. So, I still want to dive a little bit more deep into concept of community building. Mm-hmm. And what are the bases and the foundation that everyone should consider before even starting to build their own community?
That's a good question. I think you need to think about what kind of community do you want to be a part of? And that's your goal for building that. So if you see that there isn't one out there, that's your sign to build that community. So if you think, I love playing checkers, let's say, and I just don't have a community for checkers, and I know that that's something I want to do, then that's your hint that that's a good avenue to go. Because if you feel that way, there's someone else in the world that loves checkers in your city that would love to play with you. So I think you have to think about, how do you get into like a specific niche that is very much you, because you are the brand of the community. So think about that specific avenue. I think other things to consider would be time management. Do you have the time to do it? It takes a lot of time to build a community, a lot of focus on social media, even business avenues, like the financial aspect, learning about, like the financial aspect of any small business, marketing for a small business. There's so many things to know about that. Do you have the time to invest into yourself to learn everything? I think those are the main two things you would have to consider.
Do you think for someone to have a WhatsApp group, is it safe for them to say, "Oh, I have my own community," or no?
I think yes, in terms of it is a community. We're not knocking that down. Everyone has a community in some space. I think that if you want to grow it further, I don't think just WhatsApp is going to be the best way to do it. There just isn't. I don't even know how you would find a WhatsApp group. You can't search that. You can't just like join in on that. So yes and no.
And what do you think the opportunities that are being lost by not having a community, or by not leveraging the people that you succeeded in bringing together? I mean, building a community is not just about you, right? It's also about the people that are part of that community, and the connections and the interactions, correct? So what do you think by not having a community, the opportunity loss that someone would have if they're not acting fast to build a community around whatever they do.
Yeah, I think that there is so much opportunity once you build your community and start growing it. You can, I mean, it's crazy. It's just like, it's equivalent to the opportunity when you start posting on social media. You can connect with different people, you meet new friends, you connect with different brands. That's been some of the coolest opportunities I've ever had. It's really like endless. Like you're basically building your personal brand once you start putting things online. And with a community, it's just, I think back to like prehistoric days, or when you have like when you're living in a village, or like way back when, if you didn't have a community, you're missing out on information and crucial information. And taking it back to like 2026, again, you're also missing out on information and connection and just human interaction that I think is so important. So there's that part, that portion, as well as just opportunities for, you to learn about a whole other avenue within social media of brand partnerships, podcasts, just so many different opportunities. You're just opening the world up once you start building that community fully.
Got it. Now, I'm really fascinated by your story and what you're doing and how you build a community. And one of the things that I need to learn from you is when you speak about partnering with brands. What's the process? I mean, how do you even reach out? Why would they even partner with you?
That's a good question. So I had a lot of people, once I started posting on social media about how to build a community, a lot of people asking about brand partnerships. And I'll say the way that I got my first brand partnership is, again, going back to my first event, which is the fake birthday, fake first event, whatever you want to call it. I took photos of my friends holding products that I thought would be fun to partner with in the future. So I have a couple photos of some friends with some drinks, some putting on sunblock, just some other brands that I thought, oh, that'd be cool for them to possibly, I had no idea if anything could even happen from this. Maybe it'd be cool if they wanted to be part of our event. Cause look at these cool photos we can take of people playing pickleball with the drink in their hand and, things like that. And so after we did our very first event and we posted about it, a brand slid into my DMs. We had barely any followers. Slid into my DM, said, hey, I saw those photos you took. Would you guys like any product for your next one? We'd love to partner with you. And so that was the very, very first step. So that blew my mind. And I'm like, okay, this could be something. Let me continue down this path. So we really put a huge focus on content, photography. How do we showcase brands in a way that they would want to be part of, our community? And in terms of finding other brands, I also would look at other social clubs in my area and I would see who they would work with, because that those brands work with community leaders. And so I would look at, okay, there's Checkers Social Club. They have XYZ brand. Let me reach out to them because they like partnering with communities. So it kind of gives you a soft opening of, you can write an email or send them a DM and say, hey, I discovered your brand at Checkers Club. I host a pickleball social club. Here's some examples of photos that I've taken. Let me know if you want to be part of this. Would love to connect with you on a call. And then you said, and I used that template a couple weeks ago for a recent brand deal that we got. And so you just have to show them what you can offer. And another thing that's really important is when you're looking at a brand that you want to partner with, what kind of photos do they take? What's their culture, their vibe? And can I emulate that for them? Because they want to see, first of all, they want to see what it would look like to partner with you. So you want to show them images. And second, they're going to partner with you if your brands make sense together. If I'm doing like emo hard metal group, I don't know if they're going to want to partner with the very girly sunblock brand. It has to make sense. And so thinking about who you're going to partner with is really important, and making sure you can deliver on the type of content that resonates with them.
Now, let's dive a little bit more deep into business. When you have these kind of brand deals, what does it look like? What's the financial incentives? Things like that. Again, this is mainly for people that have never done this before. So.
Yeah, it varies a lot. So I would say that Smaller brands most likely will be doing product donations. Larger brands are more open to paid collaborations. And I will say, so if you look at other community groups that have brands that donate product, it's likely not going to be a brand that's willing to pay you to be part of your community. If they're already giving product for free at other communities, they're like, why would I now have to pay you? This other community didn't require that. So that's something you'd have to think about. Another thing you can think about is having vendors at your events. A lot of times they're going to pay for that. They're going to pay for a little slot to like showcase their product for you. So that's an easy way to partner with brands if you need some financial assistance with hosting your event. You can charge brands to be vendors. And then on the other side of fully paid partnerships, I feel like those tend to be the brands that are much bigger. And it's something that I'm still trying to figure out with price points, because I've had a couple different brands talk to me about different price points. I had one company, I told them the price that it would be, and they were like, sorry, no, we're not interested. And that makes me think, okay, did I price too high? But then I had another brand, I told them the price and they're like, okay, easy, done. And I'm like, oh, did I undervalue myself? Like, it's so confusing to know. Like, I'm not in the influencer world. I don't know these things. And so I'm still trying to figure that out as I go. But I think it's really important to, once you do figure out, what your price is, to stand firm on it, because you are bringing a lot of value as a community and people want to work with you. And so standing firm on what you can deliver with content, social media, knowing that brings a lot of value to brands. So yeah, it's a brand stuff. It's still so confusing and I'm still trying to navigate it, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I even answered the question. I've got lost in my own thoughts.
This is terrific. Now, what about sponsorships or doing events for causes, especially like local causes? Have you tapped into this or not yet?
Yeah, I did a charity event for the Palisades fire last January. So we did one with those. We partnered with a few different organizations, and that was really, really great to see the community come together. We threw the event for them. That was actually one of my favorite events, I think. I think the just seeing everyone come together for a cause, playing pickleball, meeting new people, that was a really magical event. So I'd say yes, we've done that. That's the only one we've done so far. And we have partnered with, I'm blanking on the name, another organization, which I just cannot remember right now. And they had a big event in Orange County that we just helped facilitate. So just donating our time with that one.
Got it. Have you ever had an incident that forced you to just simply say no to something to protect your own community?
Yeah, there's been, I think once you start posting a lot on social media with your community and featuring brands naturally just start to reach out a little bit more. And I've gotten really picky with the brands that I choose to partner with, because I want to make sure I'm not just saying yes to a million brands and it feels like an advertisement at an event. Like, it just doesn't feel natural. I want it to be something that I've tried and really like, or that I think the community would really like. And so I have said no to certain brands that I think just wouldn't resonate with what I want to create.
Got it. And was there a moment with someone from the community that really stayed with you, like a story that resonates with you, where your social club actually made an impact or a difference in at least just one person?
Mm-hmm. I had someone reach out to me recently, actually, and she told me that my speed dating pickleball tournament was one of her best dating, blind dating, whatever dating experience that she's had in a really long time. And she told me, and that meant a lot to me, because that's the one that's like my baby. Like, I spent so much time trying to curate and make sure that the event runs smoothly and figure out what kind of event I want it to be. And so she told me that that was one of the best ones she's been to, and that we put so much time and thought into the experience of each individual there. And even like the people on the team, one of their number one focuses is making sure that everyone feels welcome. And so if we see someone standing there alone, our team's job is to go talk to them and include them in conversation. And she mentioned that she just said it was a really good event, and that meant everything to me. I screenshotted it and sent it to all my friends.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, what's harder than people might think about running a social club? I mean, what's the dark side behind running a social club?
Yeah, the dark side. I would say feeling burnt out and feeling a little guilty when you don't have an event. And I have to say, I feel that way this month because I do not have an event this month. And I've had some people DM me asking when the next event is. And it does make me feel guilty not having an event, but I know my pace, and I know that I can only do so many events in the year in order to put my 110% into it, that I don't want to overdo it like I did the very first year where I started feeling exhausted and burnt out. So I would say just time management, making sure you're not feeling burnt out could be the dark side. And yeah, I think that's the number one I can think of right now.
So have you ever had any doubts along the way?
Definitely. I would say I'm a little, in general, delusional with my capabilities, which I think actually helps me in the long run. I will say, I just was talking to a friend about this, with that it's good to be a little delusional with your capabilities and your goals, because it just makes you shoot further for the stars. And when I see other people doing social clubs before I did Pickle and Tequila, I would just think, oh, I could do this. I'm capable. I'm a human being that's smart, that can organize things. So why wouldn't I be able to do this too? And I think that having that little delusion of why not me helps a lot with building a community, because it does get a little scary building something from start to finish and doing it publicly, and having your friends and family see you try to build something from scratch. And if it doesn't succeed, thinking, oh, that's going to be so embarrassing. But being a little delusional with thinking, oh, it will succeed. It will happen. It'll be something, helps. So be delusional. That's my lesson of the day.
Do you think it's okay for someone wanting to start a community to have a business side to it and be able to somehow balance between the fun aspect of it and the business side of it?
Yeah, I think that building a community is a business from start. If you're spending $1 to reserve a venue or anything, equipment, whatever, it's a business from start. So I think that not only knowing how to build a community, but learning the business aspect of it is crucial, because your community will crumble if you don't have any business tactics or financial stability coming in with it, because it does take a lot of time and money, and you don't want to go broke building a community. You can't do that. Your time is too valuable.
But some people might come back and say, "Oh, you're doing this for the money." It sounds to me like this is transactional. So how can we get people to understand the amount of effort and energy and time that somebody has to put in place to bring a group of people together? How can we, again, it's all about this whole concept or the balancing aspect of running a community.
Right. That's a good question. I actually made a TikTok talking about community building, and then I had a couple of people actually comment being like, wait, but if you charge, that's not a community, and X, Y, and Z. But then if you think about it, like if a friend is I'm trying to think of someone had a really good comment in there that said, it was something about, if anyone is organizing anything that is costing money, time, effort, people will pay for it. For example, this is such a big scale, but Coachella. Coachella is its own community. It costs money to run. You have people to hire, photographers, X, Y, and Z. It's almost the same thing of saying, well, they're just doing it for money. They're not doing it for the music, for bringing people together. It's for the money because they're charging it. It's like, it just doesn't work that way. Like everything costs money to run, and you can't be a thriving community if you're going broke doing it. There just is cost aspect to it. If I rent a pickleball court for a couple $1,000s and I don't charge anything, I'm losing a couple $1,000s every time I run an event, which just isn't, then at that point, there's no community. So but I do think that you do have to price things fairly. And of course, you're not going to charge $1 million for an event. That's unfair. So you want to make sure that as a community leader, you are building value at each of your events, whether that's educational with vendors, whatever it is, people, if they are paying money, you want to make sure they feel really special and that they're getting value out of that event.
Concept of doing memberships. Have you ever tried that?
I've thought about doing memberships. I think that for my sake and the purpose of how the cadence that I want for Pickle and Tequila, I don't think I have enough events for me to do memberships. And also, I like to do it once a month. Maybe I might skip a month. It depends on what's going on in life. So I couldn't promise the cadence that would need to be there for memberships, at least at this point.
Got it. All right. So again, I want to just touch base one more time about brands and working with brands. So what do brands care about when they work with you? And the second half of that question is, what makes you different from those brands going and working with an influencer?
That's a good question. So I would say there's two parts with the brand partnerships, the reason why they come to communities. The first being that they get your niche community. So mine's pickleball. You know that these people are into health, they're into wellness, they like activities, they like sports. When they partner with me, they know that that is the targeted audience that they're getting. So one, they get that targeted audience. They get them to try their product at an event for free. So they're now like, everyone gets a free sunblock or whatever it is. They're automatically trying it. And then the second part of that is posting it on social media. So then all of my followers that are also that specific niche are getting those targeted videos. So those are like the two part when it comes to the brand partnerships. Also, after every event that I have a partnership with the brand, I will send them all of the videos, all of the photos. I will also tell them any tidbits or any comments that I heard from people. Maybe they said, oh, we loved this one flavor of ice cream or whatever the brand is, sunblock, whatever, which one they liked. The second part of your question, which was why would they partner with communities over influencers? I think that there's a lot that I've seen over the past 2 years is that there's a huge shift towards brands going towards communities now, because communities are just on the rise, like we talked about with post-COVID. Like people love communities, they're so involved. And so I've seen so many brands target communities because I think they just bring a very specific niche and they bring events. And I think events are a really big thing for brands to be part of because it's live. They're getting the physical product versus influencers. A lot of the time they're doing just social media, just video posting, just photo posting. And I do think that there is slowly becoming a fatigue with influencers right now. And I think that people are getting a little over paid partnerships, a little over an ad that they're just seeing on Instagram versus if they're at an event, they get that product for free, you're more willing to try it.
So do you think by running communities now, it can at some point be head to head with the conventional advertisement industry?
I don't think it will replace it completely, but I think that it's a really big part of it because brand activations, it's just, people love going to those. You see these influencers go to these like really cool events sponsored by a brand. People love seeing that. And I think communities, small communities, can make that in a smaller scale that the everyday human can come to. And that's really, really attractive for people to come to that, see the brand and feel like an influencer. That makes them feel special and they associate the brand with that. So I think that it's a big part of advertising, but I don't think it's necessarily gonna completely phase it out.
What would be the one lesson, lesson that you've learned the hard way?
The one lesson I learned the hard way, I would say being in control of my own time and the importance of my own time management and valuing my time. So I've learned that through feeling burnt out if I did too many events, and also standing firm with pricing, because there is a lot of work that goes into hosting these events and the post-production of these events that I need to that it's important to value your own time when it comes to that as well. People. I think that people crave connection, whether they want to say it or not. I think sometimes there's haters on the online that say, oh, we don't, these communities, whatever, run club, etc. They always complain about run club. But the people that come to these events are some of the friendliest, most open people that it's just so great to see post-COVID, everyone just reconnecting and going back to our basic needs of human interaction. So I think the biggest lesson I learned about people is just that everyone that's willing to put themselves out there is amazing and just so fun to connect to. Everyone has such an incredible story, and seeing people reconnect in person is just great.
And what about what excites you the most as far as what's happening ahead?
We have some cool partnerships coming up this year that I'm really excited about. Some really unique concepts involving pickleball that I think people haven't done before. So I'm really excited about that. I'm creating a creative agency just from everything I learned from marketing and social media and brand partnerships. I just started it like this month. So I'm doing that as well because I learned so much through Pickle and Tequila and building a community that this is now my next chapter as well. And I'm very, very excited about it.
What do you think that might lead to? Are you looking into having like a big ad agency at some point, maybe?
Maybe. I don't even know yet. This is like it's such a baby right now that my dream would be to have it expand further. I think right now, creative agency in terms of helping small businesses with marketing, social media, creating like commercial ad mockumentaries sort of things. That's where I'm starting. And then who knows what it can be.
Awesome. Well, that was fantastic. A lot of cool ideas that came up to my mind as well as you were talking. And yeah, it's definitely using sport to bring community together. I think that's huge.
Yeah.
And one description of what a community means really has been stuck in my head, which is a community is nothing but a group of people who want to grow together. As simple as that. That's why I think people love to be part of something.
Yeah.
And the smaller the better, the niche the better, because that's what make them feel special. But by being surrounded by people that are think like them and act like them and wants to grow like them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Right. So Camille, thank you so much. I really, really enjoyed this. This is fantastic. This is one of the nice episodes that we've had so far. So thank you so much for your knowledge, your openness, and for sharing the ideas that you have coming up. Thank you so much.
This was so fun. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.